Hello, welcome to Trucking and Testing Tuesday. I'm Bridget Taylor with Taylor Made Trucker Service, and I'm excited to have you here with me today. Today, we're going to talk about starting a trucking company. Now, this message will be targeted to those people who are considering starting a trucking company, but also is relevant to anyone who has started a trucking company within the last 2 years. You're new in your journey. So dig in with me, take notes, and some of these topics we'll dive a little deeper in later conversations on Trucking and Testing Tuesdays. But these are some things that you're going to want to make sure that you do your own research to ensure that your business is successful. Now, I want to say congratulations to you that you're even thinking about starting a trucking company. And that's a bold move to start a company of your own. But it also can be lucrative. But the thing we have to remember is that we have to do our research before we jump in, because failure to do any planning is planning to fail. And I'm going to say that again. Failure to plan is planning to fail. So we want to make sure that we plan out this business process so that you, in the end, can be lucrative in your business and you can grow your business as you continue to move forward and make a difference in this world. So we all know now that the transportation industry is well needed. Little manufacturing is done within the states, and even though the manufacturing that is done within the United States, it is done in a warehouse or manufacturing facility, and they don't specialize in transporting their product to the stores that actually sell them or their customers. So that's where we need trucks and vans and all these things to come into play to put the supplies, equipment, the products in the stores. So we're very much needed. You're needed. There's a space for you, but where you fit in all determines on the work that you do. So today I'm going to give you 10 topics that you need to dig a little deeper in to make sure that your company is lucrative and make sure that you understand what your business focus is. So the first thing, we're going to nail down your business model. So what is your company going to focus on? Are you going to be an owner-operator, meaning you're going to own the truck and you're also going to be the driver of the truck? Or are you going to be a fleet owner? And that means that you'll own the equipment, but you'll hire qualified drivers to operate your equipment safely and deliver the product to your customers. Now, a lot of people, most of our clients start out as owner-operators. They originally were driving for bigger companies and they decided that they wanted to take that bold step and start their own companies. And that's what drove me to do this topic first. Because as I'm sitting down with our clients, and we're having a conversation, they didn't realize some of the things that they needed to do prior to starting their company. Now, we focus on compliance and making sure that your company is compliant and that you're following the federal motor carrier regulations. But you have to know what your business is going to do in order for you to be successful. Now, there's a third business model. I don't recommend to someone who is very new to the industry, who doesn't know how brokering and being a carrier works. So this would be very difficult because you're blending the two. You're going to be a broker carrier hybrid. So my recommendation, just from my years of experience in the industry, is that if that's something that you want to consider, let's do it in steps, because you want to make sure that each part of the process is very it is set up properly and that you're operating to your maximum potential. Okay? The second thing, we're going to focus on cash flow management. Now, this industry, the startup cost is very high. It's very high. Think about the things you'll need. You'll need equipment, which means a truck, possibly a trailer. You're going to need insurance, and insurance cost is very high for commercial equipment. And you got to think about maintenance on the equipment, fuel costs, driver pay, because you're going to have to pay the driver even though potentially you may not have gotten paid yet for the work that the driver did. So you're going to need to have some money at the beginning to make sure that you can cover these costs. Now, repairs on equipment, it's very costly. Tires are very expensive. I don't know if you've ever paid attention to those are some huge tires. So you're not just going to be able to go to the side shop and say, hey, let me get 2 tires for $300. No, that's not the case. You're going to have to dig a little deeper on that. So you're going to need to come to the table with some money to make sure that your company can continue to operate while you're waiting to be paid from some of your work that you've already done. I suggest looking into factoring companies and looking for credit cards that offer discounts or rebates on fuel when you make your fuel purchases. And also, some fuel cards allow you to get repairs on your trucks at certain stations. So those are some good things that can help you with your cash flow management as you're operating day to day. Another thing before we move on to the next topic is make a reserve account for maintenance and repairs. Because these things happen so unexpectedly, even if you had a great maintenance plan for your equipment, your driver can be driving down the road and someone 10 cars up drops something in the road, and if this driver can't get out of the way of that because there's cars on both sides, then that driver runs over something and there's a tire. So those are things that happen in life and just in business. And so now the driver has to get a new tire while they're out on the road. So that reserve account will allow you to get the new tire without it being such a putting you in such a chokehold. Okay? The third thing is build strong relationships. Now, this is very, very important because having relationships with people in the industry will open up doors for you that may not do others. So a lot of our clients at the beginning, they get their work from load boards, that those are where companies sign up, sort of like your Indeeds. They put jobs out there and people bid on it and inquire on it. They get it, they sign the contract, and then they do the work. So, but if you're building relationships with people that use transportation companies to transport their products, then you can have direct contract. Typically, those pay a little more, and you can better plan for your operations because you know that you have set routes with these companies, and you know how many drivers you need, how many trucks you need, based off of that that contract from day to day. You also want to build relationships with maintenance providers because your trucks will need maintenance. Your trailers will need maintenance. And if you have a good relationship with several maintenance providers, you will be able to get your trucks in and out, hopefully, fingers crossed, with ease. And limit the amount of downtime that your trucks have. And also build relationship with other truckers. Because somebody that you're eating at the restaurant with, while you're taking your break or at the repair shop, they may be on a contract or something with someone that need more trucks. And that is a good way for you to be able to build your relationship with other partners so that you can get more work done, get more contracts. I highly recommend like attending transportation, networking events, and things of that nature. That's one thing that we're going to continue starting back doing. COVID, somehow we had to calm down that. But make time to grow your business and network with people in the industry that can help you and help your business grow. The fourth thing, stay compliant. And that's the thing that we stress at Taylor Made Trucker Service. Stay compliant. Stay compliant with the federal regulations, the FMCSA, DOT, the state regulations with DOT, IFTA, IRP, whether you need oversized overweight permits, these things. We experience so many people who want to put the trailer in front of the tractor in our industry, and they want to operate in their rules. And it's not until they get pulled over, get pulled in for an inspection, and they get a ticket or a violation that they realize, oh, I should have just did it right the first time. Yes, these violations can be very expensive. And I hate to see someone get a violation just because they didn't do what they knew they were supposed to do. And a lot of times it goes back to what we talked about in number 2, cash flow management. So we need to make sure that we're planning better and making sure that we're staying compliant with the federal, state, and local regulations so that your business can continue operating smoothly and your drivers can continue working. Because if the wheels aren't turning, you're not earning. And that means your driver's not earning any money. So that goes back to drivers not getting paid, and then they leave you and go to your next door neighbor because the next door neighbor has work and can operate. So let's make sure we stay compliant. If you need us, call us. We're here. Those are the services that we offer, and we will make sure you're on the right track. But together, we have to work together to make sure that you're compliant. Number 5, invest in technology. I'm going to repeat that one. Invest in technology. Even you are a owner-operator, technology will help you stay compliant in so many areas. Yes, it costs money to do this. For most of you, it's required that you have current technology in your trucks. So that goes back to number 4, stay compliant. Know what's required for you to have. If you're required to have an electronic login device or ELD in your truck, have that ELD in your truck. Or it will lead to a violation, which will cost you money, which will affect your cash flow. You follow me? Which, if you're in violation, can delay your load from being delivered and will affect your ratings with the shipper or broker that you're working with. So please make sure that we're following all of these rules, investing technology, and making sure that our main focus is on growing your business. Okay, number 6, we're going to know your numbers. Now, this is one thing that I've noticed a lot of companies, especially my small business, carriers, fleet owners, owner operators, don't understand. The cost per mile. What does it cost for your truck to operate? What's your revenue for miles? Your deadhead percentage? Your load to truck ratio? All these things are very important because they affect the amount of money that you can bring into your company. And if you don't know what the cost per mile is, then you could be accepting a load that's not profitable for your company, thus causing you to lose, which is not good, because then you have to go into your own money to make sure that your trucks are still running. Just because the load is there does not mean that that load is good for your company. Now, if I have a truck payment and my neighbor doesn't have a truck payment, it's going to be different for the two of us. The cost for us to operate is different because my neighbor's not worrying about a truck payment. I am. So I have to put that into my bottom line when I'm considering, is this load a good load for me? How much money am I going to make? Or am I going to make any money off this load after I pay for fuel, after I pay my driver, after the insurance costs come out, after the truck payment portion comes out? So let's make sure we know our numbers. And we are going to offer up some training courses on those because this is very important. This is why a lot of companies fail, because they don't know their numbers and they're accepting jobs that are not lucrative. And this will affect your whole bottom line. And eventually it will catch up with you and cause you some serious financial problems. So we're going to know our numbers and look for that information coming out. And I need to see all of you in that class. Number 7, we're going to market your business. Now, there is no way in this entire world that no one in your circle should not know that you have a company. No one. No one. Just like you put on those tennis shoes and you go advertise those brands, I'm not going to say what they are, or you get that watch, you're doing all of this. And no, we're not doing that. We are going to advertise our brand. Our brand. We're going to put our company out there. If you don't have a website, find a company that you could do a low-cost website. There are so many people still go to websites to check out to make sure you're a legitimate business. Have social media pages. Brand yourself. Get shirts made at a low cost. And I have someone that I can refer you to. She does great work that can help you deal with your branding. Because the more people see your logo, they see your business, when they need something, they're going to think about, oh, I remember Bridget. She does trucking stuff. Let me call and see if she can help me with this. But if you're not telling people that you have this business, you're not advertising your business, then they're not going to know to contact you for work. Now, we get calls all the time, companies looking for trucking companies to work with them, and we do some referrals out. But it is your responsibility to make sure that people know that you're in business. If you go look at a lot of these larger trucking companies, go look at their websites. They have websites. They tell what they do. Use that as a model for yours. Now, you don't have to be all extravagant, have all of these clicks here and clicks there, but as you go, as you grow in your business, then your website will grow with you. But make sure that you are marketing your business, create a professional website, ask your customers to review your business and put that on there. And do understand with that some people will put negative things. And I personally review all the comments that people put. And I've seen some negative things, and I look at it and I say, I know this person didn't tell the full story, but nobody's perfect. So we need to make sure that we're managing our business, marketing our business, so that people will know who we are and what we do and how to get in contact with us for work. Number 8, we're going to plan for growth. Now, I know most people go into business to make money. And to make money over time, we got to plan for growth. I don't care if your initial business model is to be an owner-operator, you just want one truck and you're going to be that driver, that is fine. But you still have to plan for growth. Growth. That's the business. You gotta plan for growth. So you need to consider adding more trucks later on, adding more trailers later on, or you want to add on other services in your business. Do you want to now add on like hauling hazardous materials, which pays more than general freight? So oftentimes those jobs require additional training and things, but is it worth the growth in your business to offer this part to your business? So we have to think about these things, not just when it happens. We got to think about it in advance and grow into our business. Number 9, prioritize safety and maintenance. Preventative maintenance schedules are necessary. We have to keep these vehicles maintenance. We have to keep these trailers maintenance because we want to be operating as long as possible without an unexpected repair needed or the truck breakdown on the side of the road while we have a load that's supposed to be delivered in 3 hours. And whoops, something happened, a tire blows. But when we look at that tire, we should have got that tire replaced because we saw the thread on that tire was decreasing. So preventative maintenance is very important. That goes back to what we discussed earlier about building relationships with maintenance providers. So make sure that your maintenance provider is one that if they see something, they will say something. Okay? Make sure that your drivers are trained on safety. Just imagine, we're talking about a tractor trailer, an 18-wheeler. Some of these trucks can haul up to 80,000 pounds. Most of them won't, but they can. So if your driver is not trained on safety, when they're out on these highways, they're driving reckless, just as reckless as the people are in their cars, dodging in and out, cutting off these big trucks. Think about it. These trucks can't stop like that. And if they stop so fast like that, you see the trucks flip, you see all the jackknife and all this stuff that the trucks do that could shut down the interstates and cause other people to be late to deliver their freight or get to their jobs, or can even lead to death. A lot of these things can be prevented if you train your drivers on safety. This will also reduce the amount of insurance claims you have, maintenance, repairs that we have to get because our drivers are not being safe. Things like dash cams, a lot of companies use because they want to see when their drivers are not being safe. The driver might be using their cell phone while they're driving. And they're not supposed to. They're supposed to be hands-free. So a lot of companies use this so that they can cover themselves to make sure that their drivers are operating safely. You owe it to yourself. You owe it to your drivers, your company, employees, the public, to make sure that your equipment, your drivers are operating safely. And I hate it when I get requests from attorneys' offices or law enforcement for records on a company because a driver has been in an accident or that someone was killed in an accident and they need records from a certain time period for someone that we assist with compliance things. So let's think about it. Let's do something about it before it happens. Prioritize safety and maintenance on your equipment. And last but not least, our number 10, stay resilient. This is not easy. It's not easy at all. But if you stay resilient, stay in the fight, stay focused, don't quit. Take a quick break, but don't quit. Slow down a little, readjust, reevaluate things. This business can be very lucrative for you. And you can make the dream that you always thought of from this business. But you have to put in the work. And it requires you to stay resilient. Now you have to do that. You have to determine your level of commitment. If your level of commitment is low, don't expect your rewards to be high. Your level of commitment is going to tie to your rewards. So if you're going to do the bare minimum, expect the bare minimum in rewards. So adjust it based off of what you want your reward to be. The first year is going to be tough. Very tough. It's going to cost a lot. You're going to learn a lot. You're going to make mistakes. But you will definitely learn from those mistakes. And if you implement what you've learned, then you can turn things around. Your income will be unpredictable because it's something new. And it's not a set amount of money that you will make. Whatever amount of time you put in will determine how much your reward is. And give yourself grace. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. But give yourself a learning curve. You can't keep saying, I'm going to get it right the next time. I'm going to get it right the next time. Give yourself grace. But learn from your mistakes, implement it, and let's go. Remember, every mile matters. Every test counts. And that's your Tuesday tune-up on Trucking and Testing Tuesday. We'll see you next Tuesday. And this rig is going dark. Love you.